60 years ago, those 25 of us here tonight were fighting a war for freedom. It was a bloody ordeal that decided whether the people of the world would be free or slave. Militarily speaking, freedom triumphed. Tragically, many millions died. The 25 of us here tonight, the warriors that fought during that great debacle, are here tonight, were among the survivors. Our great nation has honored us, and we appreciate the many ways American citizens have expressed their gratitude. We thank God for the opportunity to have lived in a land of personal liberty and spiritual freedom. Our thoughts are with the midshipmen comrades of ours unable to be here tonight. We ask your blessing on us and on the food we are about to eat and enjoy. Thank you. Thank you.
Powerful.
We have a member of our organization.
Did you get it?
Very special presentation tonight. Her name, professional name, Joan Berry. Her our reunion group name is Joan Glasser. And I'll tell you what, we're going to watch what happens up here, and from now on, it's all in her hands. Her son, Bill, will be escorting her to the stage.
First of all, I want to thank you all for coming, but the most important thing, I want to thank Bob and Maria. Because without their help, this reunion could truly not be as wonderful as it was and is right now. So will you please stand up and take your rightful places where you belong. Casey and Murphy, they were going to Rome. Oh, they were chatting it up like crazy. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And all of a sudden, Casey said to Murphy, "Tell me, Murphy, what happens if we get separated? Where will we meet? How will we get along?" He said, "Don't worry. We'll meet at the Vatican." "Oh," he said, "the bar or the lounge?" Murphy's mother and father were going to see the doctor. And oh, she was doubled over like this with a pain. She's got a cane she's taken. And oh, she's like this. And she says to Murphy, "Oh, Murphy, I don't know what to do. The pain is terrible, can't stand it another minute. Oh, God, my back is killing me. Do you think the doctor can help me?" "Oh," he said, "sure, he's a good doctor. He knows his business. He'll help you. Just relax, darling. It'll be over soon and you'll feel much better." So a few minutes later, the nurse came in and she went in to see the doctor. And 2 minutes later, she came out and she was walking straight as a die. "Oh, glory be to God. Look at you. You're walking like a princess. What happened? That doctor's a miracle worker. What did he do?" "Oh," he said, "it's very simple. He gave me a longer cane." Murphy quit smoking and drinking. Oh, he said it was the hardest 20 minutes he ever spent in his life. Poor Murphy. He went to see the doctor. Oh, he was in pain like you couldn't believe this man. Terrible pain. Oh, and he said to the doctor, "Doctor, I don't know what's wrong with me. I really don't. When I touch myself here, I hurt, it hurts. And when I touch myself here, it hurts. And here it hurts, and here it hurts." The doctor said, "Okay, Murphy, take off your shirt." So Murphy took off his shirt. He said, "All right, when I touch you here, does it hurt?" He says, "No." He says, "What about here? Does that hurt?" He says, "No." "How about here?" He says, "No." He says, "Tell me, doctor, what's wrong with me?" He said, "It's very simple. You broke your finger." Little O'Toole went and asked his mummy, "Mummy, what's a lesbian?" Mummy said, "Ask your daddy when she comes home from work." Over the bar in Murphy's favorite pub that read, "If you're drinking to forget, pay in advance." Tell me, why is it people who snore always get to sleep first? Cassidy and his wife were having a bit of an argument. She put her hands on her hips and she said, "Before we were married, I thought you told me you were well off." "I was, but I didn't know it at the time." Cassidy went to the pub one night and he never came home. 2 years later, Mrs. Cassidy decided to report him gone missing. So she went down to the police station and she told the story to the policeman. He said, "Tell me something, Mrs. Cassidy. Can you give us a description of your husband?" "Oh," she said, I can. She said, "He's 6'3". He weighs 280 pounds. He's got a broad chest and broad shoulders and curly blonde hair and big blue eyes." And little Cassidy, who was standing next to him, told his mom, he said, "Mummy, that doesn't sound like Daddy." "Of course not, but who wants him back?" Murphy heard a noise downstairs one night when he was in bed. So he got up very quietly, went downstairs, and there was a man down there with a torch in the dark. He said, "What in the world are you doing down there?" The man said, "I'm looking for money and jewelry." He said, "Wait a minute, I'll turn on the light, I'll help you look." Murphy came into with some money, and he was doing a pen pal. They were corresponding for years. The pen pal lived in Australia. So he decided, it would be nice if I decided to send for him, give him a ticket and let him come to Dublin and be with me for a while. Well, so he called him on the phone instead of writing him. And the pen pal said, "Murphy, I would love to come, but I don't think I can." He said, "Well, why not? Why not? Tell me." He said, "Well, it's very simple." He said, "I'm not like other men." He said, "Really? What's wrong?" He said, "Well, I'm 7'3". I weigh 380 pounds. I've got long red hair and I have a slight limp in my left foot." He said, "Oh, that's all right. Come anyway." Oh, and he said, "By the way, before you hang up," he said, "send us a picture so I'll know and I'll be able to recognize you when you get off the plane." The telephone rang in the hospital, and a very excited, agitated voice said, come quick, my wife is having a baby." And the operator said, "Is this her first child?" And he said, No, this is her husband speaking." You're getting old when the man next to you sitting down with a bald head is your son. There's a sign on the old post road that reads, if you can't read this sign, the road above and beyond is flooded. Little Murphy came home from school one day and told his daddy, Daddy, my teacher says I need an encyclopedia. Oh, he said, don't be daft. He says, you'll walk to school like the rest of the boys. What is the difference between in-laws and outlaws? Murphy said, that's simple. Outlaws are wanted. There was a sign over the sink in O'Brien's very fancy club restaurant in Dublin that read, employees must wash their hands before returning to work. Well, one day, O'Brien was in the washroom and the waiter came out and he didn't wash his hands. Wait just a minute, come over here. Did you read the sign? I did. Well, what does it say? It says, well, employees must wash their hands before returning to work. He said, well, I'm not going to work, sir. I'm going to my lunch. Mrs. Murphy called her son, Murphy, on the telephone. Oh, she was so excited she couldn't speak. It was so thrilling. Oh, Murphy, I'm so excited I can't stand it. He said, Mom, be careful, you'll have a heart attack. Take it easy, take a breath. Tell me what's going on. Oh, she said, I can't stand it. Do you know I was 6 numbers away from winning the lottery? Casey and Murphy were talking. And Murphy said, you know, I've been thinking. I think I'm going to go to Spain. But then on the other hand, I don't think I could. He said, why not? Oh, he said, you know, he said, I don't speak the language. Oh, he said, don't worry about it. If you speak really, really slowly, they'll understand you. So Murphy went to Spain. The first thing he did, he saw a bar, got up, went to the bar, sat down, and said to the bartender, I would like a Guinness and a glass of red wine, please. Bartender looked at him and said, you would like a glass of Guinness and red wine? Yes, please, said Murphy. So the bartender poured the Guinness and he poured the wine, and Murphy took it and said, thank you very much. Tell me, said Murphy, where are you from? And the bartender said, I am from Ireland. And Murphy said, oh, I am from Ireland too. Why are we speaking Spanish? A policeman pulled Murphy over in the car, said to him, do you know you were doing 70 miles an hour? Oh, he said, that's impossible. I've only been in the car for 20 minutes. Clancy had a daughter that was very fat. Oh, she was a fatty. And one day he was sitting and he was watching the telly on a Saturday, and suddenly Mary Ellen, who was his daughter, she called him and she says, oh, Dad, come quick, I'm stuck. He said, stuck? What do you mean you're stuck? She said, what is it about stuck you don't understand? I'm stuck on the toilet seat and I can't get up. Oh, he said, "You better come quick, please." So Murphy went in, and sure enough, there was Mary Ellen. And sure enough, she couldn't get up off the toilet seat. Well, he tried, but she couldn't. So she said, "Oh, Dad, the pain is terrible, just terrible. I don't know what to do. Do something." So he went into the barn, and he found a screwdriver. And he brought the screwdriver back, and he unscrewed the toilet seat with Mary Ellen on it, and he helped her up, and there she was on the toilet seat. "Oh," she said, "Man, Diane, I can't stand the pain." "Don't worry, Mary Ellen will take good care of you." So he took her into the bedroom, put her on her stomach, and she said, "Doc, call the doctor, please, please call the doctor," which he did. And the doctor came, and Murphy Spencer looked at him. He said, "Tell me, Doctor, have you ever seen anything like that in your life?" And the doctor kind of scratched his head, and he said, "Well, as a matter of fact, I have, but it's the first time I've ever seen it with a frame around it." Murphy was sitting, talking it up with the bartender. And he said, "You know, I just bought a clock, a brand new clock. It goes 8 days without winding it." "Oh," said the bartender, "how long would it go if you wound it?" Maggie and her husband, Henry, had been married for 68 years. Oh, they were a happy couple. Oh, were they happy. They'd known each other since they were little wee ones like this. They went to school together, and they were madly, madly in love. Oh, they loved each other so. And every night, just to prove to you how much they loved each other, they made love. And it was beautiful, just beautiful. Imagine 68 years of this. It was wonderful. One day, Henry came home, and he said to her, "Maggie, I have some sad news." She said, "What is it, Henry, darling?" He said, "You know," he said, "I've just been to the doctor, and the doctor told me we can't have any more sick. We can't make love anymore." Oh, she said, "That's terrible, just terrible, Henry. I'm really very upset." He said, "Don't be. I've thought of the most wonderful idea." He said, "See if this won't help just a little bit." He said, "Here's what we're going to do. When I put my hand down on the bed, you're going to put your hand on top of my hand like that. And we're going to look into each other's eyes, and we can tell that we love each other, and it's going to be wonderful." So every night after that, for the next 3 weeks, Henry would put his hand down, and Maggie would put her hand on top, and they would look into each other's eyes with such love. One night, Henry put his hand down, and as you guessed, Maggie did not put her hand on top. Oh, Mother of God, what have I done? Did I do something wrong? She said, "No, I'm just so tired. And besides, not tonight, Henry." I met my grandmother when she moved to Long Beach, California. She had a marvelous sense of humor. And we used to have a game we used to play. I would say to her, "Granny, how do you feel?" And she'd say, "Well, I feel fine, but I have a wee pain." And I'd say, "Granny, where's your pain?" And she'd smile and she'd say, "I have a pain in my window." May the road rise to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face, and the rains fall gently upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. Good night, and God bless America.
we have more coming. I know that our son is going to bring something up here. Where is it, guys? Here, well, here's her niece. Dana Blatt is bringing up Joan. You can hold this. You can hold it.
Very, very grateful and how very happy I am to be here with you all. Thank you so much. These are just beautiful.
Well, I would like to say there are so many times you don't get a chance to catch what goes on. And if you don't catch it on video or audio, it's gone forever. But my friend over there, Nick, is taking a video of this. And as I've said before, Murray is going to make sure we all get a DVD of your presentation. And this is such a wonderful opportunity to have a member of our organization do the best presentation I have ever seen, Joan.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, dear. Now, how about a hug? Right. Good line over here. Okay.
I must tell you that this evening could not be possible without Maria and Bob's input and cooperation. And I'll begin by telling you my first big mistake in planning this reunion. I decided that the freeway would be too crowded and it would take too long to go back and forth after each of our days. So I looked at a reasonable hotel in Beverly Hills. I guess it must have been something like $180 plus maybe $15 or $20 Beverly Hills tax. And I called Bob and I said, Bob, the freeway is going to be crowded and everybody's going to be tired and everybody's going to be unhappy. He said, we simply can't afford that kind of a fee for the nights. He said, let me work on this for a while. And he came back and he said, a former member of our reunion committee who was an ex-Marine officer owned a hotel at LAX called the Hacienda. I'm going to call him and see if we can get a special rate. And as you all know, you have the special rate, and you're in the city of El Segundo, which does not have the Los Angeles tax, which is almost as high as you're paying for the hotel now. Having been a former school teacher in Beverly Hills, I thought it would be a great idea because I saw in the Beverly Hills newspaper all the people that received commendation, and none of them did what you gentlemen have done in your lifetime. And I called the mayor's office and asked if they would, whether it was possible to present to the veterans of World War II and those who have enlisted and became midshipmen and eventually became officers, to see if the mayor would recognize these members somehow. And as you know, he came up and was only too happy to thank us for the time and energies of our life and present those marvelous certificates, which you personally may not appreciate, but I promise you, your heirs will. Thank you for a wonderful experience, and good night.
Well, all I can say is that we've seen some very professional performances here by Joan Berry Classer tonight. And we've seen a very wonderful reunion group get together with the professionalism of our host, Bernie Classer, in his way of showing to us what his career has been. And it's evidence here in what we've had in this reunion group tonight, or this whole 5 days. And so we're thinking now of the same big group of people coming to San Antonio next year. Dates unknown at the present time. But it's been such a wonderful group. You don't get any better than this. This is one of the best. Thank you so much, Bernard, for your best work for our